Hello and welcome to Thrive Within. I am your host, Marc, the life coach, educator, and someone who's passionate about helping you live more fully, honestly, and aligned with who you really are. This podcast is your space for real talk and focused coaching on things like confidence, purpose, boundaries, self-doubt, and personal growth. So whether you're on a walk, taking a break, or just giving your brain a moment to breathe, I am so glad you're here. Let's get into it. Last time we talked about balancing ambition and rest. But often, what tips the balance is our need for control. Control can feel safe. It gives us the illusion that if we plan enough, prepare enough, manage enough, we can guarantee outcomes. Nothing will go wrong. People won't be disappointed, and then life will bend to our will. But here's the truth. Control is often fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, and fear of uncertainty. Here's the problem. Control doesn't actually prevent those things. It just keeps us exhausted trying. Control sneaks in quietly. Sometimes it looks like over-planning every detail. Sometimes it looks like micromanaging people that you care about. And sometimes it's needing constant reassurance that things will work out. Here are a few signs that control might actually be the one running the show. Do you feel anxious when things just don't go exactly as planned? Or maybe you struggle to delegate because no one will do it right. Or you replay conversations wishing that you could edit them after the fact. You resist uncertainty so much that you avoid risks altogether. If any of that sounds familiar, you're not alone. So, let me share a personal moment from work. There was a season when I was leading a project, and I wanted everything to be perfect. I created detailed plans, checklists, backup plans for the backup plans. I was in every detail, managing every moving part. And at first, I felt responsible. But over time, I noticed something. People around me weren't stepping up. And it's not because they weren't capable. It's because I wasn't giving them the space. I was holding the reins so tightly that they didn't have the room to breathe, to create, and to really fully contribute. And then one day, someone I respected pulled me aside and said, "Hey, your grip is just too tight. You're strangling the project." And it stung. But they were right. I had confused leadership with control. And in doing so, I was exhausting myself while disempowering others. And that's not cool. When I started loosening my grip, delegating, trusting, and letting things unfold, the project didn't fall apart. In fact, it improved. And people brought ideas I never would have considered. And energy came back, and I realized control had been costing me more than it was protecting me. So here's a simple framework I like to use with clients and with myself. It's called circles of control. Imagine you have 3 circles, like ripples in the water. And the first circle is your inner circle. This is what I can control. It's my actions, my choices, my words, my efforts, and my attitude. The next circle is your middle circle, and that's what I can influence. It's how I show up in relationships. It's the tone I set, the environment I create. I can't control people, but I can influence by example. And then the last circle is your outer circle, and that's what I cannot control. That's other people's decisions, it's their timing, outcomes, weather, the unexpected. And when life feels overwhelming, pause and ask, which circle does this fall into? Am I exhausting myself in the outer circle? What would it look like to shift back into the inner circle where my power truly lies? In this practice, it can feel uncomfortable at first, but it's freeing because you stop wasting energy on things you never had power over anyway. Here are a few questions I want you to walk with this week. Where am I gripping too tightly in my life right now? What fear is driving that grip? And what would it feel like to release just 10% of that control? Now notice your body will often tell you. Tight chest, a clenched jaw, shallow breathing. These are physical signs that you're holding on too hard. Loosening your grip may feel risky, but oh my God, it opens the door to relief. So here's a key reframe. I don't need to control this to influence it. When you try to control people, resist. When you influence, people respond. Influence comes with presence. Not the kind that you give, but it comes from your presence. Trust, consistency, from living your values out loud, from modeling behavior that you want to see. You lead from the front, not from behind. Control is about outcomes. Influence is about impact. One wears you out and the other one multiplies your energy. Here's your shift for today. Think about one area where you've been clenching your fists, trying to manage every detail. Now ask, what part of this is truly mine to carry? What part of this is somebody else's? And what part belongs to just life itself? When you practice releasing just one piece, just one, maybe it's letting a partner handle something their way, or maybe it's allowing a project to evolve without micromanaging, or maybe it's just accepting the timing isn't yours to decide. Say to yourself, I release what I cannot control, and I focus on what I can. Thanks for being here with me today. Here's the truth I want you to carry forward. Control isn't safety, it's strain. And you don't need to hold it all together to be okay. When you shift from control to influence, you stop exhausting yourself, and you start empowering yourself and those around you. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to follow the show, share with a friend, or leave a kind review. And it helps more people find these conversations. And if you're ready to go deeper, check out my books or learn more about coaching with me at guidedpathcoaching.crd.co. And remember, you got this, and I'm here with you, one step at a time. Take a deep breath, trust yourself, and remember, you're doing better than you think.